welcome to Broken Entertainment and today's bonus video. So, there's a rumor going around that Kathleen Kennedy is going to give up Star Wars and Jon Favreau is going to take over. Let's go ahead and get into the article. I've got some thoughts on it. And, we don't know how valid this rumor is, so definitely a take it with a truckload of salt kind of situation. So first, Giant Freaking Robot spends some time telling us how Kathleen Kennedy is the bestest ever, saying she contributed to the ever-expanding world of Star Wars, and they're largely interminable and, like it or not, consequential enough to deserve praise. Her work as Lucasfilm's outgoing president spans all 3 sequel films, Rogue One and Solo Star Wars Mandalorian. Plus The Mandalorian and a couple of incoming television spin-offs, and has succeeded time and again in honoring George Lucas's sprawling... I know you're a shill media site, but come on, man. Honoring George Lucas's legacy? Really? She's done anything but honor George Lucas's legacy, to the point that we know from the man himself that he hates what's being done. But yeah. Sure. She is, after all, the 3rd highest grossing Hollywood producer of all time. Like, being a high grossing Hollywood producer means you're good. You gave her Star Wars. Star Wars is gonna do very well, at least initially. Unfortunately, fan response to Kathleen Kennedy's movies has been schismatic and inconclusive. Oh, it's been pretty conclusive, actually. Most of the people defending her are weirdos on Twitter. Let's be honest. Most people do not like the Star Wars movies that Disney has produced. It's that simple. Hopelessly splintered by nostalgia, expectations, and relatively lackluster storytelling. Yeah, see, I love how they kind of sweep that under the rug by making it that, like, the last part of their comment. How about, it's been bad storytelling, and that's what has made people turn away from it and what has quote-unquote divided the fan base. Following the overnight success of Jon Favreau's The Mandalorian, I thought you said that was Kathleen Kennedy's awesomeness, but okay. Fans tirelessly campaigned for Kennedy's removal, and they have been doing that for a long time, and for Favreau to take her place. With Kennedy's contract due to expire later this year, rumors of the two locking horns behind the scenes, as Kennedy supposedly fights to monopolize her spot atop the Star Wars hierarchy, filled chatboards, and subreddits, while an insider from deep within Lucasfilm itself, who refuses to be named, alleges otherwise. That's the thing about this rumor. We don't have... you never know who these sources are, right? But this is the first rumor to come out that has completely contradicted everything else we've been hearing. We've been hearing constantly from supposed Disney insiders that there's this civil war between the two of them, and nobody has been coming out and saying there isn't until now. So we have one person saying there's no issue. With Kennedy herself supposedly gunning for Favreau to succeed her as president, Lucasfilm isn't suffering from a cultural civil war. One person. There's no power struggle here, however it's presently unclear if Favreau is even willing to assume the position. According to the aforementioned source, the company has been grappling over how best to characterize the franchise going forward after Kathleen Kennedy and since J.J. Abrams' turn as an overall visionary of the sequel trilogy. Okay, again, let's do some fact-checking. He was not the overall visionary of the sequel trilogy. He made one movie, The Force Awakens, and then he left. And from everything we know, he left with basically no notes. And then Disney hires Rian Johnson, and Rian Johnson ignores anything he might have left, does his own thing, and then J.J. Abrams comes back. A visionary for the trilogy would have been like Kevin Feige, somebody who has an overarching vision, stays the whole time, and has a direct hand in the development of the movies. He didn't do any of that. The unverified leaker writes, disagreement on what direction to take the franchise has always been a recurring problem. Certain members of the Lucasfilm story group, like Pablo Hidalgo, desired to see Star Wars resemble a D&D campaign. The hell does that mean? More aesthetic, less narrative. That you've been in some bad D&D campaigns. Others, Favreau and David Filoni, are push for a more traditional approach. Chilean executive Pablo Hidalgo, I can talk, is a founding member of Lucasfilm Story Group. Dave Filoni is a weathered Star Wars veteran, having worked on The Force Awakens, Rogue One, Star Wars Story, Star Wars Resistance, and having served as one of the writers headlining Star Wars The Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Forces of Destiny, and The Mandalorian. He's also been greenlit to write for several upcoming Star Wars shows, including but not limited to The Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Rangers of the New Republic, and Star Wars The Bad Batch. The Mystery Insider claims otherwise, though, at least in the case of Filoni. He writes Filoni isn't interested, nor is he even remotely qualified to run a film studio. He's much happier working on his own stories. As for Kathleen Kennedy herself, the writer asserts she is either going to retire or be bumped up to an even higher position. Either way, well, here, let's stop here. If she does get promoted, I think it's a promotion to get her out of Lucasfilm. It's a face-saving, oh, we promoted her out of the way kind of situation. Because at the end of the day, Star Wars has lost more fans every time they've released a movie, and lost more money every time they've released a movie. And the first time Star Wars has done well at all after The Last Jedi has been The Mandalorian. And then they fired Gina Carano. And all that backfired, and now Star Wars viewership has plummeted. Either way, her future in the company doesn't feel pretentious at all. Fan reaction would have us believe Kennedy's place in Lucasfilm is in jeopardy when the opposite seems to ring true. She's been serving the company for over 9 years. Blah, blah, blah. More, let's call it ass-kissing. So for me, it's very hard for me to take this with anything but a gigantic truckload of salt. I would love for Kathleen Kennedy to leave and for Jon Favreau to step in, and it's possible that happens. I'm certainly not rejecting that as a possibility. But to have all of these rumors coming out saying there's this big civil war at Lucasfilm and that Jon Favreau is trying to essentially take over, and then to, on the other hand, have somebody saying, oh, that's not happening, everything's awesome, everything's great, and she's just going to be promoted or retire, and she's trying to get Jon Favreau promoted. That makes it hard for me to kind of reconcile those two. And the thing that makes it even harder is that we know that Disney has released rumors before in almost exactly the same way to either trick YouTube channels that criticize them or to get people to calm down and see things in a more positive light. And the fact that this rumor comes out right around the same time that their stock prices are dropping is interesting. But we'll see what happens. I would not, if I were you, go out thinking this is the absolute future and the gospel of what's going to happen. I hope it's what happens. Jon Favreau, I think, would do an excellent job, but Kathleen Kennedy has been trash. But I don't know that there's enough there to really run with. You know, this is very much a case of, here's a rumor, let's talk about it, but I have a hard time buying into it. So we'll see where it goes. Let me know what you think of the rumor. Let me know if you think it's true. Let me know if you think Kathleen Kennedy is the bestest ever, according to Giant Freaking Robot. And if you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time.